I don't know if they have churros. I don't know. Maybe we could find out. Well, let's get churros later. Hey, thanks for watching the channel. I wanted to make this content kind of like a real talk thing about an experience I had with the law. I'm going to let my wife, Rachel, who's filmed me, kind of drive the questions here. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to share my experience with you. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Rachel.
So I think it's important that we start at the beginning. I understand you recently got arrested, so why don't you tell us a little bit about what happened?
Okay, well, what happened was that I was going to work and I was in the habit of just driving pretty much however I wanted on my way to work. It was about 6 o'clock in the morning and I got onto what's called the connector, a 5-lane highway, or 6-lane, anyways, a highway. And I passed a highway patrol guy as I upshifted from 4th to 5th and passed him and didn't realize it. I think I was going about 131 miles an hour in my WRX, and after a couple miles I realized that I was getting pulled over. I thought I was just getting a simple speeding ticket, but as the highway patrol officer came up on my window, he had his gun and a flashlight on me and was instructing me to get out of the car. I was arrested and my car impounded for reckless driving.
Dang. That sounds pretty intense.
It was intense.
When you got pulled over and you noticed that the cop had his gun pulled out, what were you feeling in that moment? Were you scared?
I mean, I'm a veteran, and most of the time I am able to play that card in life as someone who served their country. So I thought I was going to hand over my driver's license and my insurance, and I thought I was going to be meeting possibly a warning or just a speeding ticket. So I was pretty caught off guard.
Yeah. I didn't
expect that I was getting handcuffs put on me on the side of the highway at 6 a.m. That's not what I expected.
Did you ever think that you could get arrested for speeding that fast? Because I had no idea. But
no, it's not like I examine all the minutia of the laws and all that stuff when you're taking the test. You know, you study stuff and you study what you need to know, and there's practice tests that you take to get that stuff, and usually questions aren't like when doubling the speed limit in this particular zone, a highway patrol officer has the right to detain. No, I had no idea.
Yeah,
I didn't expect that.
I think that's important for people to know, that you can, in fact, clearly get arrested for simply driving too fast.
Yeah,
all right.
And after it happened, I looked up the citation, and the first thing I read was possible 6 months mandatory jail time.
Yeah.
And that kind of freaked me out.
Okay, so let's go to the next step. So you get arrested, then what happens?
I looked up the severity of it. I mean, I got put in handcuffs, my car got impounded. I went to the county jail, and the first thing I did was call my wife, or actually the highway patrol officer let me use my cell phone to call my wife, and she picked it up, and it was early in the morning, and she thought it was a joke and hung up.
I don't think I hung up.
Yeah, you did. So I tried again, and I had to call collect, and then I had to get bailed out of jail, which was about $350.
Yeah.
My car was also impounded, which was like another $400. And at this point, I'm not even doing what's required of me legally to rectify the situation. I had to go down to the courthouse and wait for the highway patrol person to submit what's called their findings, the evidence and their police report of the incident. In that time, while waiting for it, I did some research on the citation, and like I said before, I was pretty shocked, I guess, or taken back that I could possibly face up to 6 months in jail. So Rachel, who also bailed me out of jail, researched a couple lawyers, and we found a traffic defense lawyer named Will. Do you remember his last name?
Young?
William.
Was it Young?
Yeah, William Young, who maybe we'll get a little snippet from him in this video, but yeah, we found William Young, who had some awesome ratings and reviews on his website, and pretty much, yeah, so the first thing I did was I got a lawyer.
And
a traffic defense
lawyer. Once you sat down and had that first conversation, did you feel like, how were you feeling about hiring a lawyer? Did you think that was a good decision at that point? Were you a little unsure?
I've heard mixed things about getting lawyers in different situations, with friends having various problems with the law. At first, to be honest, I was a little skeptical, but he didn't overpromise, and he did not underdeliver. So looking back on it, I think it was the smartest thing I possibly could have done was getting a lawyer.
Yeah. How long how much time elapsed from when you hired him to when you actually had your kind of pre-trial conference hearing?
It was about a month and a half, and that's probably partly due because of the Christmas and New Year holiday. Things are a little slow, as we all know, when the holidays around, people just get going a million different directions, and so business in general, including the law and government as a corporation, tend to move slow. So it was about a month and a half until I had my pre-trial conference with the judge, my defense lawyer, and the prosecuting, the state of Idaho's lawyer, which was over Zoom.
And I guess kind of walk us through that for somebody who's never been through that. Like what happened?
Well, my
there?
lawyer called me a couple days ahead of time, and so the idea was that we would strike a plea bargain or a plea agreement where we would settle on some terms that are lesser than the maximum penalty. I should probably also know, like, up to that time, I had a clean driving record, and I am a veteran, and I mean, on paper, I'm not a criminal.
And no,
I'm a bad boy if you've watched my YouTube channel, but clean record. So the lawyer called me a couple days ahead of time, and based on what the state of Idaho wanted to do, it was looking like I was going to have 40 hours community service, pretty heavy fine. We're talking about $800 to $1,200, a safety class, and a possible 30-day license suspension. And that was a couple days before the morning of the pre-trial conference.
And what did your lawyer say about that initial offer that the state offered?
He said that was a no-go deal, that if, to me, that was sounding good because I wasn't hearing the word jail. And so I was already like, okay, if that's all I have to do. But he was not satisfied with that deal. Apparently the state gets in the habit of doing what most government agencies do. They pay bottom dollar for services. So the lawyer for the state, the prosecutor, was a very young new lawyer and looked like he was just throwing the book at me because he didn't know any better. My lawyer had the experience and the knowledge to know how to negotiate a better deal.
All right.
So he was appalled at that and explained that even if that was the final deal on the table, he was going to try to talk me out of it and then postpone another hearing, which could have been a possibility.
Okay. So what ended up happening at your pretrial conference?
What ended up happening was the judge was someone with common sense and experience. He took a look at me, even regardless of it being on Zoom. He could tell that I was well-mannered, very sincerely apologetic, and I was just really straightforward and transparent about acknowledging that I committed a crime, that I got clocked going 123 miles an hour in a 65 mile an hour zone, and that I was very sorry and I wouldn't do it again. So the judge ended up ruling in my favor, and what ended up happening was the bail money counted towards a fine, so that was zeroed out, and I've got to take a $25 online class. It's a 6-hour class where I have to then show the certificate to the court. that I've done it. And that's it. No community service. Still got my license. Didn't go to jail. Still got my cars. Wife is still a little upset. I'm still in debt for hiring the lawyer. But all said and done, I'm about $2,200 into the incident, as I like to refer to it these days, including the bail money, the tow, or getting my car out of impound, and the lawyer, about $2,200. But no jail time, no community service, no suspended license, and the citation got talked down from reckless driving to inadherent driving. Inattentive driving, thank you. So less points on my record, less detrimental to my insurance, and still on the road, able to go to work and able to save a little bit of face. So, but it is very intimidating going into it. I had no idea what to think. I'm very into driving myself, so yeah, I was very skeptical and worried about the whole situation.
So a couple kind of wrap-up questions. Overall, how do you feel about your decision to hire a lawyer, and would you recommend that for anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, hiring a lawyer, William Young, was like the smartest decision I ever made, because I'm not a lawyer and I don't have the experience to do it. Yeah, I mean, that guy had my back, and I probably would have taken a deal where I could have put my job in jeopardy and just cost even more money because I didn't have someone to have my back in terms of law defense. Defend yourself. Yeah, lawyer up. So I guess they don't have burritos here, but we could get it later. Can we finish up this interview?
Sure. Okay, it's no secret that you love driving and you love drifting.
I do.
But there's a proper place and time, right? And maybe how are you feeling about the fact that you were maybe driving a little too fast, not the right place and time?
Yeah, I mean, I wholeheartedly am apologetic for breaking the law. Most of the driving I like to do, it's not safe to drive like that in traffic zones. Whether I'm the most rad, talented, in control driver or not, which I'm not, but even if you were, you should know that it's not very cool. It's pretty selfish to drive like a jerk on the road. Most of the really fun driving you can do in a controlled situation. It should be done on a track. To be frank, I'm embarrassed. I've set myself to be a bad example on racing, drifting, and just like the automobile enthusiast community in general. So I want positive things for my community, whether it's like the drifting or rally community or whatever it is. And it's incidents like me and things that I did just make it harder for a city and a state to want to donate money and land to building a track. So it's definitely the wrong example at which I want to be setting.
All right.
What?
Is there anything else? Sorry.
No, I think that's it. I just wanted to talk about it. Thanks for watching. Let's see if they got a churro.